Well, and as you heard there, Banyana Banyana gearing up for a difficult FIFA Women's World Cup opening match against the highly ranked Sweden in Wellington on Sunday. Let's speak to the Minister of Sports and Arts and Culture, Zizi Kodwa, who is joining us from Wellington. Minister, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. I understand that it's evening that side, but thank you so much for making time for us. How's the team feeling ahead of Sunday?
No, good evening to you, Simpiwe, and thanks for the opportunity and your listeners. I just had a privilege to visit the training session of the team. The spirit is high. They've been here for some time now, and I think they've acclimatized. They were quite excited that indeed they see the support not only of myself, there are a number of South Africans who have arrived here to come and cheer them from the stands, for which I will join them on Sunday. And I think it is important that all of us must rally behind them, given the cloud under which they left the country. As you know, some of the unfortunate incidents of 24 hours before their departure, which is matters now which are behind them. And I think they are focused, they are quite excited, very cold, but I think they have already acclimatized to the weather of Wellington.
Yeah. And from your side, though, as the Minister of Sports and Arts and Culture, and of course, flying the South African flag high at this World Cup, how do you feel, Minister, that we have a national team and being led here by a woman as well, being featured at a World Cup? They qualified. They didn't just make it there. They worked very hard to get to this point.
No, I'm quite happy. I'm quite excited. I think that there's a lot that you must do. There are matters, for example, that happened just before they left the country, which unfortunately reflect it's more of a function of leadership. They could have been avoided. Such matters, unfortunately, if you read even a number of developed countries that have always been participating in the World Cup, you hear when you get here that a number of countries that did not resolve some contractual issues. It shouldn't be that because it's now women and therefore the different countries and associations who are responsible for football in different countries do not take them seriously. And I don't want to make that as an assumption, but I think in our case, it's a matter of function of leadership. But I think as government as well, working with federations, because that is where we give money to development of football or sport, we work through federations. We should make sure that we want to see results. And I think Banyana Banyana, there's a lot that we can do in terms of investment, but also we can make this call to the private corporate citizens to come on board, because a lot that must be done in the country in developing women in sport. We need to make sure that commercial partners, who many of them you'll find in rugby, you'll find in other sporting codes, they must as well make sure that they spread around and make sure they contribute to the development of football, women's football in the country.
Yeah. And another aspect that has now been raised as well, Minister, in that statement from SAFA is a clarity around the supporting staff, saying that supporting staff doesn't get paid an appearance fee. What would the minister's suggestion be on how to deal with this particular issue? As you mentioned a bit earlier on as well, the cloud under which the women left the country around these issues around pay, but now also the supporting staff.
On my way here, I met with the president of SAFA, and I hope to have a cup of tea in the course of our presence here at Wellington to find out what has been the development, because there was an understanding since there was a breakthrough in the deadlock of dispute at the time that these matters will be attended to. I heard about some matters that are still not yet been resolved, and I hope to get a report. I don't want to comment about issues that have not been reported to me as yet, but I do think that the matter as it relates to players, that issue was put to rest with the intervention of a number of other partners, including the Municipal Foundation, which I spoke to make sure that they contribute to the resolution of the impasse. The issue of the coaching staff, the technical staff, whom some of them have seen their work today at the training sessions, and I hope that matter will be resolved as soon as possible so that they too, you see, as we prepare, as we would be hosting for 2027, there are certain issues that we must do right. And those issues, unfortunately, they rest with the leadership of SAFA. And I hope that SAFA, as they bid to host 2027, there are issues that we must learn, that indeed there must not be a repeat of some of these issues, including the issues around staff.
Yeah. Minister, thank you so much for your time. And please do also express and extend our well wishes to the ladies as they take on Sweden on a Sunday, as you heard there, at 7 a.m. South African time. That is the Minister of Sports and Arts and Culture, Zizi Kodwa, joining us from Wellington, where Banyana Banyana will be playing in the opening match in the FIFA Women's World Cup.